All right, let's see what we can do. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're gonna be starting a new chapter, and it's on, well, we're doing stuff with polynomials. And so I wanted to dig up something that might be helpful later on, even today. We've done completing the square before. And I just kind of want to kick that up a notch. So last time, and in previous times, we've had, let's say we had x squared minus 4x plus 9. And we wanted to complete the square. So previously we subtract 9 over. Then we would take this and cut it in half and square it. And we would add this to each side. We would add this here and we would add this here. So -4 divided by 2 is -2, and if we square it, we get 4. We add 4 to both sides. And then what we did is to complete the square on the left, we would throw this in parentheses, move this right here. This is -2, we'd have x. And over here, we'd have -5. Guys remember doing that? Might have been a little while, but we've done this. So the way we're going to change it up a little bit is instead of having it equal to 0, let's look at this same problem and have it equaling f of x. And now I don't want to move the 9 to the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little space. And this is still f of x equals so-and-so. We still do the same process. We take this, we cut it in half, and we square it, which is going to give us 4. Now, since we're not adding it to the other side, and I don't want to change the value on the right side, what I can effectively do is add 4 and subtract 4. So the right side still is, if we add this up, it's still x squared minus 4x plus 9. But now we've written it in a way that we can take this part and do complete the square. Turn that into x minus 2 squared. And then we have 9 minus 4 is plus 5. I don't have chat up, so let me see. It's okay. And as we're going to see later today, this is in the form of what we had. This is in the form. This is a parabola with a vertex at HK. And we're gonna do this again in a later class, but I wanted to show you the motivation behind what we're doing. Because this makes the parabola easy to graph. Because from here, if A equals 1, we're doing the left or right 1, up 1, left or right 2, up 4. That pattern we had with parabolas. Let's see. So let me give you guys one to practice on. Does anyone need that up longer?
No, I'm okay.
I'm good.
All right, why don't we jump this up to f of x equals x squared plus 6x minus 4. Try to complete the square on that. And we'll do it together in about 5 minutes.
I don't know why I was gonna close the door.
Hey. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that -4 over. And I'm going to take this and cut it in half, square it. And that's going to give me a 3. 3 squared equals 9. So I'm going to add 9 and I'm going to subtract 9. And this part makes up the x plus 3 squared. And the -4 and -9 gives us -13. So what is my vertex?
It's -3, -13.
Yes. Now, check this out. I had f of x equals x squared plus 6x minus 4. And if I stick in -3, what do I get? I get -3 squared plus 6 times -3 minus 4. -3 squared. Which equals 9 minus 18 minus 4. Which is -13. So if I can find my h value quickly, k is just plug and play. That's kind of neat. That's going to come up in several things that we do later on. This is called the remainder, but we'll cover that later. Let me give you another one to practice on. So leave it at that. Let's do that. Complete the square on that bad boy. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna take that. If we cut it in half, we've got -10 over 2 squared that we're adding, which is +5 squared. So then we're going to want to subtract 5 squared as well. This gives us +25 minus 25. And we get x minus 5 squared minus 25. It's kind of neat if we graph this. And I know these cross at 0 and 10, because if I had taken f of x and factored it, I have x times x minus 10. And if I want to see where my y values equal 0, to find my x-intercepts, for x-intercepts, set y equal to 0, y equals f of x. So these each individually become 0. I get x equals 0 and x equals 10 as my intercepts. There's another formula for this h. And it's based on the form f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And we're going to do this again and then an hour probably. It ends up being h equals -b over 2a. I don't want to use that yet, though. I want to show you how to complete the square when a is not 1. Give you guys some more practice with it. We're going to do it in the main class as well. But the more practice you have with it, the better. All right, so let's take a look at a harder example. And walk through how to do it. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to still move the 12 to the side. What I'm going to do for this portion right here is I'm going to factor out the coefficient in front of x squared. I'm just going to put it out front. And this will say, now say x squared minus 4x. If I want to complete the square, I do the same things we normally did, but there's a single change. This still ends up being +4 in here. But I haven't just added 4 to the right-hand side. I've added 2 times 4. So what was added was this. I added +2 times 4, so I need to subtract 2 times 4 as well. I'm gonna do -8. If I do that, I can complete the square like I normally do. Now there's just a 2 out front. And this is x minus 2 squared plus 4. My HK is still the same. It's 2, 4. Which tells me the location of where my parabola is. My vertex is at 2, 4. But now rather than going left or right 1 and up 1, the up 1 is scaled by that 2. Times 2 means up 2. And left or right 2, instead of going up 4, that gets scaled by the 2, and it's up 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is f of x equals 2x squared minus 8x plus 12. Or in the form we just wrote it, 2 times x minus 2 squared plus 4.
Is there a name for this form?
That's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that. I think there is. So I had said h equals negative b over 2a. What is that in this case? B is negative 8. And a
That
is,
wasn't called vertex form?
I think it might be called vertex form, but I think there's more to it.
Great, what do you do? What?
Yeah, it's called vertex form. I just Googled it real quick. That should tell you how often it's used. If the math teacher has to go look up the name of it.
I feel like I should get some brownie points for that.
I strongly approve. There's big props there. It is the vertex form. So, back to, my negative b over two a, that's my negative b, and that's my two a. I've got plus 8 over 4 is 2. And we saw that right here. And if we stick h equals 2 into that form right there, you get 2 times 4 minus 16 plus 12. That's 8. Negative 16 plus 12 is negative 4. So f of 2 equals 4, which is k. Kind of neat, huh? So another form of finding that vertex it's at negative b over 2a and then f of negative b over 2a. All right. So let me give you guys one to try. Try this both ways. Let me write down what we're working with first. So do the complete the square method. And then B, use the negative b over 2a, f of negative b over 2a. How you guys doing? Imagine that, 3 of you are on Zoom and here at class all the time. And at least for the students that took support, you are the 3 that had the highest midterm scores.
I was gonna ask that, like, how did everyone do overall on the exam?
Let's see. Let me check the other class too. The students without support in general fared better. As a class average kind of thing. That's only because they have more practice with it in previous lives. Overall, between the 2 classes, there were a lot of most students passed.
Okay, well, yeah, that's good then.
Most. Unfortunately, not all. But I'll take what I can get.
When I got
Probably-
home, I had realized I'd done question 9 wrong.
Yeah, I literally got in my car and I was just looking at all the notes, like, what did I do wrong?
I don't have it with me. I will hand the test back to you. I forgot them at home. I will have them on Thursday. Or next time I see you.
Are your exams always just 10 questions or was it just that one?
Just, you want more?
No, like in your past, like in all your years teaching, were they always just 10 questions?
Depends on the content. For some classes, I had 20. For like a pre-algebra class, when we did that, when there was a lot of arithmetic, it was just problems like that. For my calculus classes, I tend to only do 4 or 5 problems. It's all about the number of different topics in the section and how much time you have to take the test and what I can reasonably expect you guys to get done. All right. Walk through this one. We are going to factor out that -3. And if I do -24 divided by -3 gives me 8. So I have plus 8x here. I'm gonna leave some space and put the 2 over there. We're gonna come here, we're gonna complete the square. That's plus 4 squared. So that's plus 16. And what I really did, I didn't add 16. I added 16 times -3, which is -48. Which means to do the opposite of that, I need to add 48 back in.
See, I had made a mistake when doing this and I couldn't figure out what it was, and it was I had subtracted 48 from the outside.
Yeah,
Me too.
and so you gotta take close attention to that. You're gonna take that and you're gonna multiply it by that. And quit leaving my pins open, they dry out. All right, so we can finish that off. We have -3 times x plus 4 squared plus 50. I bet you knew that you got it wrong because you did the h equals -b over 2a. I got negative, 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 I got 3 negatives there. And I got 24 over 6, which is -4. So if I do f of -4 up there, -3 times 16. This is plus 96 plus 2. So I've got -48 plus 98 equals 50. So that tells us HK is -4 and 50.
Yeah, I did the second part right and got 50, and I was like, what did I make a mistake in the first one?
Right. So having done that, you could, like, if you had made the mistake, you probably ended up with. Right?
Yeah, that's what I had.
So when you have something like that and you checked your thing, you can almost invariably go, what if I did the opposite? Instead of subtracting 48, I added 48. So the way you check it is you undo subtract by adding 48. And then do the add 48. But it's good to know both ways. And it's like 3 minutes till 3, so let's pause the video here and wait for people to come to class.